All right, today's your lucky day because you are getting the keys to the tahini kingdom. So you're going to need tahini, of course, some lemons for fresh lemon juice, whole cumin seed. You are going to need cold water, salt, I like kosher salt, and about half a head of garlic. And then I'm going to use a food processor, but you can also do parts of this with a whisk or even a hand blender. Okay, first thing you want to do before you do anything else, you're going to want to peel this garlic, and then you're going to want to juice these 2 lemons. We might not need all the juice from these 2 lemons, but it's good to start with 2, and you can adjust as you go on. Okay, so check this out. So I juiced my 2 lemons, and I have about 1/3 of a cup of lemon juice. And then all that garlic, I gave it a rough chop and I threw it into this food processor here. And so now what we're going to do is actually blitz up this garlic with the lemon juice and let it hang out together for a little bit. So I'm going to leave some lemon juice left over in case I want to add a bit more at the end. So even though we have 1/3 of a cup here, I'll probably put a 1/4 cup in with the garlic to start. Okay, check this out. I blended most of this together. It didn't take that long, maybe just 30 seconds or so. And this is what it looks like. I'm gonna scrape the sides of this and then blend it a little more. But honestly, you may be thinking, yeah, this looks a little gross. I agree, it does. But you need to trust the process. So just blend up all that garlic with the lemon juice, and then you're gonna let it sit together for at least 10 minutes. Okay, so this is what it's looking like. I got it all blended up. You're actually probably wondering, why do I do this? So if you let the garlic hang out with the lemon juice, for whatever reason, I don't know the science behind it, but the acid in the lemon juice actually neutralizes some of the sort of aggressive taste of the garlic. And so what we'll be left with after about 10 minutes or so is very subtle garlic flavor in the lemon juice. Even though we used, 6 or 7 cloves, this isn't going to taste that garlicky at all. It'll be a very nuanced sort of flavor. Okay, while the lemon juice is hanging out with the garlic, you can move on to the next step. So you'll want some whole cumin seed. You can use powdered if you have it, but I feel like grinding this fresh really makes a difference. So I've got about half a teaspoon here, and I'm gonna put it in here with this mortar and pestle to grind it up. Okay, so here's the cumin all ground up. It's been at least 10 minutes now, so we can go on to the next step. What you want to do, now that all of this has been hanging out, you're going to want to strain this garlicky lemon juice. So strain all the solids out of it. If you have a fine mesh strainer, you can do it with that. Sometimes I have this little tea ball, and this has really fine mesh. So usually I'll strain the juice through this, but essentially you want to remove all the garlic solids now. Now I have the lemon juice straining. I did my best to scrape the bowl of the food processor and get all of those garlic solids into this little strainer. And what you're gonna want to do here is you can use the back of a spoon or something like that to actually press on these to extract more juice, because you want all of that garlicky lemon juice. So go ahead and do that. The hard part is over. Now you can actually get to assembling the sauce. So we have our lemon juice that's perfumed with garlic, the ground cumin seed, of course the tahini. This is 11 ounces. And I'm gonna start with a teaspoon of kosher salt. This part I usually do by taste. I haven't measured it out before. So we're gonna both kind of learn as we go. So all these things, lemon juice, cumin seed, tahini, and kosher salt, can all go into the food processor right now. And then I'm going to show you a little trick to get all of the tahini out of this jar. So right now I have everything in the blender, the cumin, the salt, the tahini, and that perfumed lemon juice. Even though I tried to do a good job of scraping this container out, you can see there's still a lot of tahini in here. So what I like to do is, the sauce needs water anyway, so I'll usually put like half a cup of water in here. And then I put the lid back on this. And then I actually shake it up really vigorously. And what'll happen is that tahini will emulsify with the water and you'll be able to get most of it out of the container. So I'm gonna shake it up and then I'll show you. Right, so I put the lid back on this jar and I shook it up pretty vigorously for about 30 seconds. I'm just gonna pour that right into here. And then you'll see we more or less got everything out of this container. So now we can get rid of this. It's time to start blending. So this sauce is definitely going to need more than half a cup of water to get it to the right consistency. But we can start with that and I'll show you what it looks like. So when you first start blending this, when you don't have enough liquid in it, it'll actually sort of seize up and you'll think you're doing something wrong, but you're not. You're just going to need to add a little more water to it. So I'm going to show you what that looks like. So this is what it looks like right now. This is just the half a cup of water in there. And like I told you, it's like completely seized up. And honestly, it looks kind of gross. Don't worry, it's going to be fine. So I'm gonna put the lid back on this. And then since my food processor has this opening, as it's running, I'm going to stream probably another half cup of water or so into this to see if it gets to the consistency that I like. Like I said, I added another half cup of water or so while it was blending. And now this is what it looks like. So this is with a full cup of water and just that lemon juice that we used. Now to me, this is looking good. It's still a little bit thick. I'm going to add probably another quarter cup of water and then come back to this. So I added about another, not even a quarter cup of water, just a couple more tablespoons. And now the texture for me is looking perfect. I ran a spoon through it. It's creamy and loose enough. And then keep in mind, this is actually going to firm up a little bit once you refrigerate it. So you might want it just a touch looser than you think. But in total, looks like I used, a hair over a cup of water for this recipe. So a cup of water and a couple tablespoons. So now what you want to do is taste this, and we're going to adjust for seasoning. It's probably going to need more salt. It might need more acid as well, so we have our extra lemon juice. I'm going to taste it now. This is what I ended with. This is about 2 cups, and this is maybe another half cup here or something like that. So I did add more salt to mine. In total, it took 1.5 teaspoons of kosher salt for me, and I ended up using all of my lemon juice. So that was the juice from 2 whole lemons in total. Then outside of the salt and lemon juice, we had the 11-ounce container of tahini. We had that half teaspoon of ground cumin, and I used about 1 1/4 cups of cold water. Now the seasoning part of this, especially the salt and the lemon juice, that part is personal. I like this sauce highly seasoned. You might not like it as salty as I do. So maybe start with a teaspoon of salt and see where that gets you. And don't start with all the lemon juice. Maybe just start with the quarter cup like I did and see how you're feeling about it, and then add more towards the end if you need to. This will keep in the fridge for a long time, at least a couple weeks. Like I said, it'll get firmer in the fridge. And you can do all sorts of stuff with this. You could whisk in some more lemon juice, water, and even some olive oil and make it into a salad dressing. I like to chop fresh herbs into this. I think I've shown you that before. You can even put nuts in this, like pistachio, If you do pistachio and mint in here and put it on something like lamb, it's really, really delicious. Anyway, let me know how you make out.